Have you ever searched for that perfect crocheted pattern to make a dishcloth? Hello everybody, this is Deb from Just Do Something Homestead, and today we're going to learn how to crochet homemade dishcloths. This time of year I am busy making gifts for all my friends and family, and these dishcloths are one of my favorites. You may recall that several months ago I was able to buy some kits from Pioneer Woman that were available at Walmart. Each of those kits included a kitchen towel, 2 skeins of yellow 100% cotton yarn, and even a crochet hook, threads, buttons, needles, lots of little things. And those kits were $1. I'm going to be using that as a basis to give out some gifts this Christmas. And these washcloths really came out wonderful because they're so soft. Some people were critical of that yarn, and as it turned out, I love this yarn. I'm focusing on those colors of red and yellow to include the dishcloth, a container of soap that I mix myself, and then these little pot holders that I got from Dollar Tree. So all in all, it is less than $5, and this is that type of gift that I think anybody would love to receive. Let's get started. I am using an H or 8, which is a 5.00 millimeter crochet hook. Each one of these mini skeins makes one dishcloth, and the dishcloth I fiddled around with the pattern. It is 8 inches square, and it is really soft. Now I found the yarn to be a little bit thinner than the cotton yarn I'm used to, but it makes a wonderful product. Typically, I use peaches and cream. They come in a variety of colors. Get these at my local Walmart. So any cotton yarn, you want 100% cotton so it does not melt if you put on a hot pan. You just want to search for medium, which is size 4. I'm going to continue to use this bright yellow Pioneer Woman because my goal is to pump out some more Christmas gifts. To get started, you want to put a loop on your hook. What I do is I wrap them around 2 fingers and I cross it at the back and then turn my hand. And now with the hook, I'm going under, over, and I just kind of grab that. That's going to put a slip knot on, just like that. And I can tighten it, and my crochet hook is ready to go. Start by chaining 33, and you want these stitches fairly loose because if you make it too tight, your first row is going to be shorter on the ends than your rows beyond that. So make it kind of loose. And you want 33 in the chain. Go to the second loop from the end of the chain, 1, 2, and you're going to put a slip stitch in there. And then through that next loop. So slip stitch. And then the next one is going to be a half double crochet. It's a little awkward at first. I got 2 loops in there. But once you get this pattern started, it's going to go really quickly. There you go. So slip stitch, half double. You're just going to repeat that going across. So the next stitch is going to be a slip stitch. And the next one, half double. And do that all the way across the row, and I'll meet you on the other side. Here's an entire row of slip stitch, and then half double crochet, slip stitch, half double crochet going across to the end. Now, every row starts with a slip stitch and ends with a half double crochet. At this point, you're going to want to chain 1. Now, I do something because I hate weaving in ends. So I like to take this end right away. And this might be a little tricky, but I'm going to take my hook, just leave that loop on there. It's not in the way. And go down through those 3 loops of the half double crochet. All I'm going to do is grab this tail. So I'm grabbing the tail and pulling it into the row I'm now crocheting. Just like that. So he is now up there. I can tighten up my loop, And see how he's now on top of those stitches. So I'm going to turn. So I've chained one, and I'm going to turn, and I'm going to start with a slip stitch because it's always starts with a slip. So slip stitch goes in here. Now, here's that extra end. Put it on top and pull your stitch through as a slip stitch. All right, the next one is definitely going to catch it because the next one is a half double crochet. So you go through, you want both loops on there and that tail on top, and then weave it through and pull. So we have a slip stitch and a half double. Now I'm not going to go the whole way down with this. I've done a few stitches here and I still have a tail. I'm not going to continue with that tail on top of all of them because I've discovered a dishcloth gets a lot of hard labor. So this eventually starts to fall out. So I am just going to push it down out of the way, it doesn't matter where, and I'm going to keep crocheting without it. So that's out of the way. And now I'm going to go and do my slip stitch, making sure I don't get him. And onto my half double. And I'm just going to keep on going, leaving that dangling there. And oops, got an issue going on. There we go. All right, so go to the end of the row, doing a slip and a half all the way until you get to the end. Then chain one and turn. Our pattern is starting to take some shape to it. Now what you're going to see on this side is that tail. So I'm going to crochet until I get to that tail. I'm at that tail, and what I'm going to do is pull it up to that row that we're on. So just grab it and pull it up like that. All right, there is a method to my madness. When I used to weave in that tail, they used to come loose, but now I've gone this way with the tail and I'm pulling it and going back the same direction it started. So what that's going to do is enable it so it's not going to come out easily. So I'm going to now tuck it under there and keep it on top of that row. When I get to almost the end, I'm going to snip it off. All right, so my ends are completely woven in, don't have to deal with them anymore. And I'm almost to the end of this row. This can be a little tricky. It took me quite a while to figure out a system of how to do this, but you're going to yarn over and actually go down to the row below and take on those two pieces of yarn that look like an upside down V. Then you can put your half double crochet in that stitch, just like that. And let me show you what that does. So you're going to chain one and then turn. All right, I'm showing you on my finished one. What it does is it makes this very nice, straight, even edging on your dishcloth. So that is why I do it. And I'll show you another one, but you're going to go down a little bit and reach for the V. I'm at the end of the next row, so I'm going to show you a little close up. So you're going to do that half double, so yarn over. Now you're going to look for those two loose ones that form an upside down V. It's literally one row below. And pull it on through and through. And that's going to give you a nice straight edge. Chain one and turn. And from this point on, you're just going to repeat that pattern. Slip stitch, half double, each one in its own stitch going across. I will meet you after you have a full perfect square. And if you've watched my channel for any amount of time, you know that I am also a full-time teacher in West Virginia. And today we had a snowstorm last night, so we are on a snow day. That has given me the opportunity to catch up on these Christmas lists. And believe it or not, it's supposed to be 55 degrees tomorrow. This is crazy. I just finished this dishcloth, and I want to show you how I present them as gifts. The first thing I'm going to do is to fold it into quarters. So you're going to have a perfect little square. Just like that. And even though I use computers every day at my job as a teacher, I did not make this template. I actually found a free one online and I simply printed it. If I had made my own, I think I would have changed it from handmade washcloth to handmade dishcloth. But honestly, you can use these for washcloths, and they are indeed 100% cotton. My printer even printed them a little crooked. I'm not going to use a paper cutter. I'm just going to use my scissors. I just place that on my dishcloth and then turn it over and pull up these flaps and then tape it down. Pretty easy. I decided to go with a light tan cardstock, and I think that makes it a little more sturdy. Now, I may love crocheting and homesteading and teaching and all the things that I do, but another thing I absolutely adore is thrift shopping. So throughout the year, I am looking for containers at my local Goodwill, and I'm even stricter. I only buy them when they're half off for the color of the week. So honestly, this little gift right here, the container was $1.50 and the dishcloth itself was about $1. So we're talking about $2.50. I'm really liking this container. It's the color of like a plum, deep purple, and it even has a metal rack. When I turn it over, it says tastefully simple, and I got it half off for $1.50. I'm going with a dishcloth that has just a hint of that same deep purple color. And then I really like to mix up my own foam hand soaps. And I do that by recycling these containers and then mixing up my own soap. I use Meyer's Clean Day soap, and this is a hand soap. This one just happens to be the lavender scent. So I fill up the foam container for about 1 inch, and then all I do is fill it with water, shake it up well, and I get about 4 foam soap dispensers out of this one container of soap that I bought for $4.99. Of course, this last one is the one that incorporated both red and yellow, added that pot holder from Dollar Tree, one of my mixed soaps, and the crochet dishcloth I just made. Another thing I often do is to buy a mug. You can find lots of different styles and types of mugs in your local thrift store, and just put your dishcloth down in it. If you enjoyed this video on how to crochet handmade dishcloths, please like, subscribe, and share. Have a blessed day, everybody. Bye-bye.